quick this morning. But we'll pay attention to the time. I was thinking an articulated streamer. Dumbbell eyes, or some kind of weight with the calf tail. The calf tail is pretty good. So it'll be a two-piece streamer. We'll make a shank. This is 0.8 millimeter round wire. So let's make our little shanky shank. I've been experimenting with the shank. This one doesn't need two, it just needs one connection point. So I've been using a toothpick, and then the toothpick is malleable, so you can kind of crush it in, and then squeezing the wire around the toothpick nice and tight. Slide the toothpick out, and then work that wire around. That'll be our tie-in point. We don't need to do much more with the end, but if you don't like those sharp tips, we can fold them in. However, we need to be cognizant of the direction the eye is. And ideally, you'd be folding with the same direction. If you tie in vertical, you can tie in vertical, you can tie in horizontal. I don't know really the difference. I'm gonna do horizontal to try to get a tighter fit to the hook. So if it's horizontal, then I'm gonna bend down just slightly. Let's get them back. And then I'm gonna close it up. Like that. And that'll be my shank. So let's put the shank in the vise. We always have to remember it's gonna sit horizontal. So you could, if you need to rotate it, you can rotate it. But let's try not to forget it's sitting horizontal. Let's get our thread. You need a stronger thread. Yeah, you should be using an appropriate thread. Wrapping the thread is going to help solidify this shank. So you want to give it a nice base of thread. And then hit it with a little bit of glue. And that will solidify the thread. Hit it with a little glue. And move that glue around. And cover that with some more thread. And that So we're gonna do the calf tail, baitfish emulator. This is the baitfish emulator is a brush. I'll show you what it looks like. So it's a material brush, but this is too long. So when we tie our fly, we're gonna end up trimming the brush down. And these are the trimmings I used for a different fly. So we're gonna use some of those trimmings, and we're tying a tail. Rolling the material, getting a little taper if you can. The tail doesn't need to be too thick. Remember, it's sitting horizontal, so we'll tie our tail in. And next we want body material. What are we thinking? Let's keep it slim. So let's do a wrap of a gold Flashaboo wrap. For our body. I'm tying the Flashaboo. This is working backward. Normally, you're tying toward the front and wrapping back. But somehow, I'm still gonna tie it. It's a little bit tricky to wrap with my left, so I'm gonna wrap with my right. But I'm gonna then switch the position of the material. Then wrap the material back around. Reposition my thread toward the front to about here. We'll start the wing here, and we'll start the other, the collar, the body wrap. We'll start right there as well. And we'll put a drop of glue down. Spread that around a bit. And then we'll wrap our pearl. It doesn't have to be perfect. This all gets covered. We're building up the thread, which is okay, but a little bit wasteful. So let's go back. Oops, sorry about that. Wrapping the body. Okay, that's enough. Let's trim out the material. Let's go ahead and I think body first, then wing. That's what I'm thinking. So we'll do, just cut out a section of this to make it more manageable. And then, no, we shouldn't eyeball it. We should actually see how long we want it. I'm going to do the first cut straight across. Get the bigger scissors. And you can save that stuff for to blend with other dubbing or something, could be useful later. And then I'm gonna thin it out a bit with some vertical chops, just so to break up that uniform cut. Okay, then we'll do a little tie-in point and tie in the material. Not very clean, but that's all right. Let's wrap the material. One wrap and two finish. And lock it in. Trim it out. And secure it down best you can. Okay. If you have some strays, you can just give them a tug, and usually they'll lie flatter. It's not bad, but let's get our wing. We're gonna use this calf tail for the wing. You could do like a squirrel tail as well. The calf tail is really supple, moves well in the water. The problem is it doesn't tie in well. It's very slick, doesn't grip thread very well. So we'll tie a little wing, kind of clean up those butts, transfer so it's in your right hand, back to the left hand, and then we'll lock it in. And smush it to get a little bit better coverage. And tight, tight, tight. Can clean that up later. And then I'm gonna put a drop on my thread. And then I'm gonna lock it in this way. Slow, slow, slow. Slow, slow. The tail could have been longer. And we'll go ahead and trim off. Yeah, the tail could have been a wee bit longer. But it's got a little bit of taper. It would have been, you could have done like a red mylar in there as well. I think that would have stood out better. Gold is just safe. Being a little conservative. Let's get a hook. Let's see what this hook looks like. I think this is good size. We're not trying to make a honking huge pattern. Something that more designed for river fishing. Okay, let's get the thread started. articulation. I'm gonna do multi-strand articulation. Okay. Found some lana. We're gonna just need about that much, and we'll quadruple it over itself. And we'll lie it down flat. Flat on top. There's no hook on the back, so it's not load bearing. But still, this is probably what, 10, 40, 50 pounds of breaking strength, the four together. However, the tying point is the weakness. We'll thread it through. But I don't want this to kick that much. Oh, we might have to go here. What time is it? We got a little bit of time. Like real tight. And then right on top. And those strands are covering more surface area than just a single piece of thicker mana. So you're not getting a ton of wiggle. Still a little bit, but not a ton, which is what I want. I don't want that whole thing kicking. Just a little wiggle. And just trim it out. Let's drop and spread. And then we can do we need another wing. What I'm debating is whether we tie in more of the bait fish emulator or we just go straight body material. And I think straight body material is the way to go here. So let's get our gold mylar back in. And then we'll wrap a little bit. Give it a wrap. Oh, these are ugly wraps. It doesn't matter. Okay. Tie it off. Trim it out. Let's do our emulator, check our length. Length looks okay. I'm gonna tie it in short side. I kind of got this weird cut, but it works. It'll work. And then I'm gonna tie it a little bit high, hoping to wrap one or two more, get one or two more wraps. Get one, there's two. I'm moving toward the eye of the hook. There's three, that's three wraps. I think that's all we can do. Let's tie off. Reposition that material. Wing and then head. Wing head. Let's get the wing. Clean up the butts. Check our length. A little bit. Clean the tie-in. Tension, tension. That's good. Smush it around. And a drop and spread. Just because the calf tail will slip. Almost always slips. All right, now for a head. Simple dubbing would be nice, but I had some dumbbell eyes I wanted to use. I can't seem to find, oh, here they are. Here they are. These aren't that heavy. You could tie them in on top, but there's a risk the fly could roll. So it'd be safer to tie them in bottom side. But mind the hook gap. If you're gonna do bottom side. I want this to ride hook point down. And then just crossing with some X wraps. That's good. You could do bunches of deer hair, trim out a deer hair head, that would look nice. But for the sake of time, I'm just gonna do dubbing. What color? Let's use some of our trimmings, and then we'll blend in some dubbing with that. A little bit lighter color dubbing. This is a wool, natural wool. And we'll blend that in with our trimmings. And then we'll take a little bit and we'll veil it on one clump before the eye. And let's check. Distribution is okay. And then we will advance the thread. I sat the eyes a little bit. Oops. I sat the eyes a little bit close. So I don't know if I can get another clump in front. So I'm not gonna try. I'll do a clump behind. It's traveling a little bit. I'll just try to utilize that. It's gonna look patchy. Oh, that looks terrible. Let's not do that. And just work with what we got. Okay, let's tie off. And then let's trim out. Brush out rather, not trim out. The dumbbell eyes were repurposed, so we're gonna have to refresh the dumbbell eyes. Then I'm gonna just do a rough chop around, shaping. Let's take it out. Lumps. This is not my finest work. A little bit of a rush. Yeah, the head is weak. The eye should be set a centimeter further back. Let's refresh our eye pupil. That's pretty bad. Okay, and then we are finished. Little articulated streamer. The tail, it'd be nice if the tail were longer. I mean, this will fish, but not a very pretty pattern. It'll cast well, it's super light. Yeah, so that wing is a little thick, but the main thing is the tail is too short. That's the main problem, and the head sucks. But it'll go in the box regardless. All right, well, let's shut her down here, and we'll see you for part two. Part two is going to be in about 4 hours.